Hello everybody! Today we are going to build a chessboard or a checkers board. It's the same thing. We're going to do this out of plywood, 1/8 inch plywood that we have in the workshop, and it's Baltic birch in case you were wondering. It's real pretty. And we're going to use the laser engraver to do this and Lightburn. So that's what we're going to learn how to do, how to make this board or a board that looks kind of like this on on um, on today's lesson. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we are going to open up Lightburn, and we're going to do a new thing. All right, and what do we need to do? We need to do a bunch of squares, right? There are, if you notice, there are 8 rows and 8 columns in a chessboard or a checkers board. Something to remember is that the black or the dark square goes in the left corner. All right, we'll need to remember that for later on. Okay, let's go back to Lightburn and let's make us some squares. All right, so we can go up here to the rectangle tool, select it, and let's make a rectangle. All right, we got a rectangle. That is a huge rectangle. So if you have already made your chess pieces, then make your square something that will fit that. If you haven't made your chess pieces yet, then make something that's going to fit in a 1.5 inch square. The reason for that is that a 1.5 inch square times 8 squares per board, per row or column, will give us 12 inches. So that's going to give us a 12 by 12 inch or a 1 foot by 1 foot board, which means if we get a little bit larger than that, about 14 by 14 for our box, because that's what we're going to put this in, that's a nice size. That's a decent size. You can hold that and carry that around without any big problems. Okay. So for today's lesson, we're going to do 1.5 inches for both the width and the height, but yours may need to be adjusted down from that if you have really small pieces or something else. Okay. So we're going to do that. I'm going to go to the select tool and select that so it is selected, and I'm going to go over here and I'm going to change this because I want to fill this in. So over here under the mode, we're going to change that from line to fill. Boom. And now it's filled in. So I have my first square. I just need 63 more of those. So luckily Lightburn lets us do that pretty easily. So if we select that square and we go to arrange and down to grid array, or if you notice, that is a icon right there of like a tic-tac-toe looking thing. And if you come over here, oh look, we have that same tic-tac-toe looking thing. So if you click on that, that opens up grid array. All right, now this has got some numbers in it from when I was playing with it before. So start off with, before you do anything else, make sure your X spacing, your X column shift, your Y spacing, and your Y row shift are all 0. Okay, so let's start off with, let's go up. All right, Y is vertical, X is horizontal, if you remember your Cartesian coordinates. All right, so let's go do. Oh, it's on shift by half already. Okay, and then let's do for sideways. Ooh, that doesn't look right. How do we fix that? Well, if you notice, it's not scooting over. I need to leave a blank space. So what if we tell the X spacing to skip a space, which these are 1.5 inches wide, so let's do 1.5. Oh, look at that. So then that skips over a space, right, to do those. And then it shifts by half when it goes up. And so it goes back and forth into a checkerboard pattern. And let's make sure that with 4 columns and 8 rows that we have all we need. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Boom. We have all the squares we need. Okay, excellent. So let's click on OK. All right, and we are basically done with the chessboard. Yay. This was super quick, except we're not exactly done. Let's, if you notice, there's no line here. around the white ones along the edge. So let's do that. Let's put a square around that. That's a little bit too big. Actually, I'm going to change the color of that one to black so it doesn't do what it just did. And we're going to change the width, and I need to undo proportionality. We're going to change the width to 12 because 8 squares times 1.5 inches is 12 inches. And we're going to make the width or the height also 12 inches. Okay, and then we're going to just select all of that. Oops, I left it on that again. So if you do that and you're just making, oh no, I'm making more squares. I don't mean to be doing this. Just undo, right? That's up here. Just undo. Go back to where, okay, here's where I needed to be. Let's go to select tool. Let's select both of those, the chessboard and the square, and let's do the align centers, or this little bullseye thing right there. Boom. There we go. It might even be on the left here. For mine, it's at the top, or you can get to it from arrange, and down to align and align centers. There's a couple of different ways to do it. All right, and so that draws the line around the edge of it. Cool. We're done. Now we just need to put it on a box. And this is a nice plain chessboard. It's going to look like that without the letters and the numbers, but that's fine. If you want to add the letters and the numbers, you can do that. Certainly. And if you want to do some sort of a decoration or an image in here, you could do something like, let's go to import, and let's import the Launchpad logo. Let's do that. Doesn't that sound like fun? All right. And let me zoom in a little bit on it. We're going to take the word off, I think. And we're going to change all of that to blue. All right, and then we are going to make sure that's grouped. It is grouped. We're going to drop that into there. All right, so we could have that there. And if we did that back at that beginning step, when we duplicated everything with the grid array, it would have duplicated the Launchpad logo as well. But you don't have to do our logo. You could do whatever you wanted to do. Let's just undo that. All right, let's you could have something else. Let's see, what else do we have here? We import. Oh yeah, we have some Celtic designs. That one kind of looks like a funky recycle logo. Or here's some nice little geometric designs. I think this is a group. Yep, so let's remember how to ungroup something. You pick the single person all by itself. If you want to group something, you pick the group of people right next to it. Okay, so we ungrouped it. And now let's pick, say, this one. All right, make sure that that is grouped, and it is. And let's move that onto that layer. And, ooh, that's a little bit too big. So we're going to go up here. Oh, look, yeah, the width is 1.7 and the height is a little over 1.5. So we're going to make that 1.5 and 1.5. Okay. And then we're going to put that in there. And then there you go. We could do something like that. Or it could be on the white. You know, it could be on the white squares if you wanted it to be. You know, either way. That could be cool. Okay. So, different things that you could do there. That was Sharon leaving to go to the dentist, in case you were wondering. Yeah, so that's it for the chessboard. You can design it however you want it. You could even have a different thing on the black or the darker squares and the white squares. You could do the Launchpad logo or whatever on one. You could do something else on another. You could do your name. You could do letters or numbers. So technically each of the squares has a letter and number. Like this is A1, this is B1, this is C1, D1, E1, F1. This would be F8, right? That's A8. So you could label each of those if you wanted, if you choose to. You might not want to do that. I don't know. It's up to you. Go nuts. All right. So we've got all of this. Let's go to MakerCase. And you're just going to make a basic box. All right, we're just going to make a basic box for this. Um, so let's say, how big did we say this was? This was 12 by 12, right? Yes, it's 12 by 12. Okay, so we're going to make this, say, 14 by 14. And for the depth, we're going to make it like 2 inches tall. Okay, and if we scroll back out, that's going to give us a box. It's going to look like this. All right, and that's going to be 14 across by 14 across. It's going to be 14 square and 2 inches high. It's going to have these fingers so we can glue it. We don't want to glue the top on so that we can take it back off. We can change the finger sizes to bigger finger sizes if we want so that we have less of them. That might be kind of nice. We want this to be, I think, the outside dimension, not the inside dimension. And we want it to be closed. I did pick closed, right? Yep. Okay. Yeah, so that's good. And of course, these dimensions should be whatever. If you made a smaller board, it should be smaller. If you made a larger board, let me know because we may have to cut some plywood special for you. Okay, so you get this the dimensions you want. You get it looking how you like it. You can go to download, and it's going to say, oh, okay, this is how it's going to be. All right, and we're going to just download that. And you don't have to have the labels on here, the front, the back, the bottom, the top, the left, the right. If you notice, these two are exactly the same, these two are exactly the same, and these two are exactly the same. So it's pretty easy to figure out what goes where. They kind of only fit one way. So you can disable them if you would like, or you can enable them, either way, it's up to you. Download it. All right, and we're going to call this, hold on, we're going to put this in the chessboard. We're going to call this chessboard version 1. This was 14 by 14. All right, just so that I know. Okay, and then that saved it. And now we're going to go back into not Launchpad. We're at Launchpad. We're going to go back into Lightburn, and we're going to go to File and Import. And we're already back in the chessboard. And there we go. We see the chessboard V1 14 by 14 SVG that I just downloaded. And that's going to go there. And you know what? Hold on. We're going to move that kind of out of the way. We're going to get rid of all this stuff. Okay? All right. And is this grouped together? We're going to group that together for now, just to make it a little bit easier to move it around. All of this we're going to group together, again, just to make that easier to move around. Okay, now this is going to take a lot of space on the board. So actually, we want to ungroup that, now that I think about it. And we want to move, for example, these guys down here. All right, and these guys, we want them to be over here, but let's rotate it. So we can arrange and rotate 90 degrees, and there we go. And that's going to take up less. So, I mean, technically it's the same amount of space, but we have more contiguous space that we can use on the board. And then if we want, we can highlight all that and make that horizontally centered so that all centers on it. And then let's take this and move it down here to say that. And we are going to highlight and select the chessboard and that one piece, and we're going to align the center, and that's going to make sure that that got lined up. And if you notice, it kicked it a little bit to the right. So this guy over here, we want to move that guy a little bit over to the right. Okay, so that we don't have, and then we can move these guys a little bit over to the right. That way we just don't have a whole lot of wasted space there. Okay, now at this stage you don't really have to worry about, is this going to be the inside bottom of the box, the bottom of the box, or the top of the box, or the inside lid of the box. At this point it doesn't really matter. But you can figure that out later on when you put it together. But anyway, this will get you your uh, board, and you probably don't want these labels on them, so you can just kind of highlight them or select them and get rid of them. And I'm not sure why it's doing that. Maybe we have to do that, and we have to scroll in there to see those. All right, we don't want those guys there. Okay, and these guys here, we want to get rid of those. And we may just do like this. Whoops. And now we got to realign this. Okay, so let's do this. There we go. All right, that should be good. And yeah, this is ready to be cut. Well, other than the speeds and the powers, but we do that over at the computer by the laser, because that's going to depend on the wood that you're cutting. So go ahead and save this if you haven't already. And remember, I like to do, let's go save. I like to do my name or your name. That way we know whose it is. Chessboard. There's an AM board. It's 14 by 14. Chessboard box, actually. And this is version 1, because we might end up changing our mind. Okay? And then that way we know what it is. All right. I like descriptive names. Okay, so that's good. That's good. That should take care of it. If you have any problems or any questions, watch the video again, or talk to me or Shren. Thank you, and good luck, and enjoy your chessboard.